very bad-mannered in-game, but that's just my bizarre ideas.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Harlequin and Absentis casting for you the SC Reddit Open number 13, and we have for you a game between Mirage and Good Luck Have Fun, as the Good Luck Have Fun is the purple Zerg in the lower left, and Mirage is the, teal or light blue Protoss player in the upper right here. So, yeah, just to echo your thoughts, Absentis, I totally agree that this is a very balanced map for most races, and Zerg Protoss tends to be a pretty balanced matchup just to begin with. So I think it's just going to be a nice average game here where both players have a lot of options. I wouldn't be surprised if both of them fast expanded right off the bat or what, but we'll have to see.
Well, I may have to disagree with you about the matchup, or at least some of the pros in Korea are saying that the Protoss versus Zerg matchup is now the kind of most unbalanced one. It used to be Zerg versus Terran, but now a lot of people think Protoss is the stronger of the races. However, this match, the spawning locations definitely favor Zerg. You'll know that his opponent isn't in close air momentarily. He's sending out his drone scout now, and I would imagine that we'll be seeing an expo very quickly, unless, of course, it is blocked by this very pesky probe.
Yeah, I'm looking to see the theme that we had for whatever reason. Okay, so Gateway's going up first, but the last couple of tournaments I saw, the theme for Protoss players on Zerg was they always walled in with photon cannons, and we haven't seen that at all so far today. And yes, this pesky probe is probably just going to delay, and then throw down a pylon. So we'll see.
Also,
he's going to shut that down.
There's a very interesting. There has been a change in the worker how they act or how they behave. If you notice there, if you look closely, that drone had gotten a lot of hits off on that probe. Now, in the past, you'd see a lot of workers sliding and a lot of misses, and that probe would have been able to delay that expo for much longer. However, now workers attack better. Like there's less sliding, and you saw that drone get off a lot more hits. I'm tripping all over my words now, but they would have been able to get off that expo. They are now able to get at the expo much sooner.
Yeah, and I think all Zerg players are noticing that one big, and I'm sure a few other players who are used to having to chase away pesky, annoying things. And there's the Nexus from Mirage, by the way. So he is definitely, again, a good player in that he's identified his opponent has got a fast expo, and he's just going to counter it with his own fast expo and get a forge up, which I think is definitely the right move.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about really fast expos. As you can see, Mirage isn't mining any gas. I believe that's very intentional. That he's saving these up for getting a lot of units out really quickly in lieu of, or rather than having a lot of probes at the beginning. Faster expos by Protoss, I'm not really familiar with, but I've been told that it's a pretty viable strategy.
Yeah, I want to see when. Okay, so he is finally back on gas now, which is good because I was going to say, you run the risk of getting overwhelmed by roaches if it takes any longer than that to get a few stalkers and that sort of thing up. But we'll see if he's going to get a cannon here. I don't actually like the placement that he's got going here for his fast expo. It could be because he wasn't planning on doing it right off the bat. But a lot of times I see them put the gateways kind of more down at the front of the ramp and make it so that the path has to go all the way around. Around the mineral patch, basically, to get in through the front door. And it makes it a lot easier to wall off.
Yeah, we're not seeing that kind of hook at all. And putting buildings back in the main, this could be because of the roach range increase. You can no longer put buildings in front of cannons and be completely safe. Roaches now have the range to get in there and kill cannons. So, yeah, I mean, this is just a shift in how the matchup's going, and I'm really curious if this, his specific placement will work out for him.
All right. Looks like we're moving right along here. Still really defensive by all players here. We've got a handful of leans coming out. No speed upgrade just yet. Let me pull my production tab. Speed upgrade just started, actually. And just chasing each other around right now. Both people with, we got 2 spine crawlers, 3 spine crawlers in the front for Good Luck, Have Fun, and 2 photon cannons for the front of Mirage here, just placing them right in front. And looks like they're all just going to take their darn time getting ready here. So I'm curious to see, typically the late game army to beat for Protoss is always going to be Colossi and a little bit of gateway units just to kind of back them up. And the name of the game for Zerg is, can you grow faster than your enemy can grow? And usually on equal base footings, you never will. But we'll have to see if he's going to take a third expansion and correctly identify that or what. But really, now is the time for Zerg to be tripling up.
That's right. I did check his vision shortly ago, and Zerg had no knowledge of Mirage's Expo. So right now, I would imagine a third base. Zerg is always has to stay one base ahead to be economically viable. As you can see, trailing by Harvesters by a bit. So Zerg has two choices right now: get another base or just start droning really hard and try to catch up with the Protoss.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we do have a Spire going up. So Spire Tech, I gotta say, I usually like it against Protoss at least a little bit, especially when you've seen that your Protoss opponent doesn't have a ton of Stalkers already. But I always think, it's a little risky. I like Spire Tech a lot better against Terran, oddly enough, than I do against Protoss. But we'll see. It looks like, he certainly it has the right matchup to argue for it. But the timing might not work out very well because we do see we've got 5-6 gateways going up right now with the double econ just pumping in for Mirage here.
Now, I really like Zerg's positioning. Good luck, have fun. Managed to sneak a Zergling into the main base, saw all those gateways warping in, and is positioning his Zerglings in such a manner that he would see any probes going out to take a third base or any armies moving out. Now he obviously just left and took that scouting probe, but before it really had a very nice, it's not a contain, just like a scouting contain, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it wasn't going to stop an army, but it would stop any little things that were going on, any counter scouting or anything else like that.
We do have 6 Mutalisks on the way, as well as some Zerglings, so definitely a Mutaling strategy. Quite good in general. I think, Protoss was just checking other expos, making sure Zerg didn't take a third base. Of course, heading up straight to the, what is that, like 10:30? To see if there's a base there. And also Protoss taking an expansion, which is, I mean, if Protoss can just defend against these Mutalisks and these Zerglings, Protoss is going to be in a really, really nice position.
Yeah, and he's not that bad. I mean, he can always warp in a handful of Stalkers, and he's got the right army comp normally to take care of mutas, but we'll see how much damage they can get done here. So already killing lots of probes. Looks like 4 or 5 probes going down. Here come in the 3, 4 Stalkers, 5 Stalkers being warped in, and the mutas are definitely going to have trouble with that. They're going to do a few more kills there and then fly back out. Overall, not bad, but not amazing. That's kind of what I would expect a competent Protoss player to do. Just, get your Stalkers in there and chase them away. And eventually he'll probably throw up a photon cannon. Yep, there's one right now going up in his mineral patch. And he might actually be able to defend against those mutas, in which case he'd be just absolutely rocking out with the double econ there.
Yeah, checking the Harvester count, Protoss is still ahead even with that harassment, and Zerg, as of yet, does not see that third expansion, although he looks like he's going to be checking it right now.
Getting a few, just like one on those passing probes there, and the Ling's actually getting in really good position here. But Stalker's coming up on, and the mutas definitely do not have critical mass to take care of that. Looks like he was able to successfully defend that. Took a bit of ground casualties, but really, I mean, heavy Stalker army at this point. And Blink is already researched. I saw that he got that Twilight Council up just a little while ago. So weapon research going on. Blink is already happening. Huge Stalker army here. So this is definitely an army that, it would do good luck, have fun, a lot of good in order to just stop making mutas at this point and go for something heavier and bigger. But he really doesn't have the economy at the moment.
Zerglings, they don't really counter Stalkers, but they can do quite well. Of course, Blink Stalkers can get out of the way. But in tandem, like Blink Stalkers themselves don't necessarily counter, or like don't necessarily hard counter Mutalisks. Stalkers, Zerg going into that third base. Okay, so we are back. Unfortunately, that lag occurred. Can't do too much about it. There is a Dark Shrine now going up for a Protoss player. I like it. Okay, looks like Zerg is just going to directly attack the second base, taking a couple cannons, but not much else. And ooh, nice Blink, going to catch a lot of those retreating forces.
Yeah, it's the Zerg doesn't have a lot of options here. I mean, he's picking off cannons and stuff like that, but to what end I don't know because he's just losing chunks of his army every time he does that, and the cannons are easily replaced. As you can see, cannons going right back, and it's just not really a net game for the Zerg player.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Zerg, still trailing in harvesters, might be taking another base. There we go, 4th base, but still needs a lot more drones. And this pylon could spell trouble for that by being able to warp in a few units and forcing a cancellation.
Yeah, with no Colossi on the map, I'd really love to see a Rote Hydra army instead and just get away from this whole Ling Muta thing. I mean, it's good, but you really need critical mass in order to make it work. And if you can't, if at the end of the day you can't stand up to an army of Stalkers with the amount of Mutas you have, and frankly, he's not doing so bad right now. He's got a bunch, but Mirage just has a ton of Stalkers.
The best thing about that attack at the second was that the Dark Shrine was spotted. So we have a couple Overseers already in place. Not at this base, though.
Yep.
So unfortunately, the other bases are covered, and a 3rd Overseer is going to be morphed in as looks like this hatchery is going to go down to these 3 DTs.
Oh, no! Hatchery's down just as the Overseer gets in here, but frankly, that Queen have a lot of trouble just with the 2 of them there. And they're just going to walk away, it looks like. Oh, she even transfers
nice.
the Spinecrawler.
Yeah, keeping that Spinecrawler alive. Really good. Muta is now coming back, and as long as that Overseer comes over, should be able to save this hatchery no problem.
And slowly but surely, we've got the Overseer, and that'll take care of it. So all the DTs are down now, but they really paid for themselves. Just shutting down one whole expansion is all you really got to do.
Absolutely, and without pneumatized Carapace, those Overseers are going to be really slow, and that's something Zerg needs to research, and research very quickly. Very large Stalker Ball heading out.
Huge Stalker Ball.
Yeah, we also have Hive Tech coming from Zerg, so I'm guessing I have no idea, actually. Maynard being caught, Queen going to go down, and a lot of exposed drones right now.
And this is the biggest problem for Zerg in this situation, and anybody who's fighting a Muta-heavy army, if your army consists of anti-Muta units, just attack with it, because Mutas suck at defending. Mutas are great for harassing and poking around and keeping you busy, but if you actually shift the tide and get them defending with Mutas, it's the worst thing for them, because they end up having to sack a lot of Mutas trying to kill Stalkers and things like that. And as you can see, Good Luck Have Fun isn't even going to try, because he frankly can't. He needs something different.
Yeah, I imagine he'll be waiting for Hive Tech. Just kind of stall for the time being, sack his this base here. He might move with the Stalkers to launch a counterattack in the meanwhile, which looks like he is, yeah. He has a huge number of Mutalisks right now. This is approaching critical mass where you can pretty much just attack anywhere as you please.
Yeah. And that looks pretty good, but he's not even going to bother. He's going for the easy, low-hanging fruit quickly as he can. A lot of kills racking up there, but I just don't think it's going to matter. I mean, Mirage just has so many workers right now. Even killing 5 or 10 of them just doesn't really dent his production all that much. And, unless he, he's getting chipped away a little bit too much here, too, because, Good Luck Have Fun really needs to either say, okay, I'm going to engage any Stalkers I see and kill them off one by one, or I'm going to harass, and he's kind of done a little bit of both, and as a result, I think he's lost his critical mass here, and he's just going to get sniped to death by these pointing Stalkers.
Yeah, there's an Ultralisk Cavern coming up, but there's no way that it's going to be finished in time. This giant army from Protoss seems nigh impossible to beat. Got substantial upgrades, 2-2 for attack and armor, 1 for shield.
2-1-2 upgrades, yeah, that's definitely going to be over there. 1 attack upgrade for the Mutas, but here's that Muta defense that I was talking about. They just can't do it. You just cannot defend with Mutas.
No, there's only too many.
Triple the number of Stalkers.